The following is a presentation of the Fairfax Network.
Hola, bienvenidos. Hello, welcome to our World Tour Language Series. We are presenting our program number 2, Spanish program number 2 of our Spanish series. Me llamo Doña Ada. My name is Mrs. Ada, and I'd like to welcome once more to our program number 2. Here we have the objectives of our class. We will talk about Spain. We will review what we had presented yesterday. We will have some time with the Spanish alphabet again. We will learn new greetings, and we will talk about language facts, Spanish language facts. And I would like to start with a little overview of Spain. España, España. And here, this is the way we pronounce it, España. When we think of Spain, what do we think about? What does come to our mind when I think of Spain? And this is an activity that you will find in your workbook. On the first few pages of your workbook, when I think of Spain, what do I think about? What comes to my mind about its people, the climate, the food, the clothing, and place names that you may know, your parents, your families, your friends, and you yourself may have visited. Do that exercise and write me about it. Tell me, what do you think when you think of Spain? Now, speaking about Spain, I'm going to show you a map of Europe, so the surroundings of Spain, rather. And here we see Spain. Now, Spain is the third largest country in Europe. It occupies most of the Iberian Peninsula, which lies between the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. Portugal, that you see on the left, it occupies the rest of that peninsula we talked about. You see how close it is to France, to Morocco, to Algeria? I'd like to tell you that you can find this map on the first few pages of your book. I believe on page 2, you will find this map of Spain. I like also to go into the other map that talks about cities, because it is very important. Many things have happened in Spain in the past few years, and I like to talk to you about some of these cities, such as Madrid, which is the capital, and we'll go through that in a little while. We have Sevilla on the south. Now, what happened in Sevilla last year was very, very important. March 18, 1994, the daughter of the King and Queen of Spain, Infanta Elena de Borbón, married Jaime de Marichalar, and they had a beautiful wedding in Sevilla. Now, in 1992, many things happened in Spain. In Barcelona, who remembers what happened in Barcelona in 1992? We had the Olympic Games, the 25th Olympic Games. They were hosted in Barcelona. Madrid at that time was called the cultural capital of Europe. And also they had an expo exhibition in 1992 where it took place in a place called Guadalquivir River, and it was the Universal Exposition. Now, if you see Córdoba and Granada, also in the south, Córdoba and Granada was occupied by the Moors many, many years ago, and we still have the legacy in Spain of all the monuments and their art. And this we will see more about it. Now, Toledo we will visit in a few lessons from now. We will visit also Toledo. So there you have it, cities, important cities of Spain. We're going to talk about the main city, Madrid. Madrid is the capital of Spain, and listen how I pronounce it, Madrid. Madrid. In Spain, the last D, the final D of that word is pronounced very strongly, Madrid. And in Madrid, Madrid is the capital of Spain, as I said. It is boasted with a lot of activities all week long. In Europe, mostly all the stores and everything is closed on Sunday, but not in Madrid. Those open markets are open all day on Sundays. The residents of Madrid are called madrileños, madrileños. And all the activities that happen in Madrid are called, by the local people, are called los madriles, because of all the activities. As I said, Sundays is open for shopping spree on the flea markets, and these flea markets are called rastros, rastros. And the rastros are open where you can bargain to your heart content for a good price on what you buy. Now let's go to the flag. We have the flag of Spain, and the flag of Spain, the colors, I hope you can appreciate it on your screen. They're orange and red. This is the coat of arms in the left hand of the flag. It was adopted in 1981. And the symbols appear on the shield, which are the powerful kingdoms of Aragon, Castilla, and other historical kingdoms that happened in Spain and made Spain what it is. Let's go into the currency of Spain. Spain has its own currency called pesetas. Pesetas. And you hear that word also in other Spanish countries when we just shorten it and we say pesos. But this is the peseta. And the peseta currently, I will venture to say it's about 128 pesetas for a US dollar, more or less. The coins are called monedas, but here we have the notes, pesetas, and you see King Juan Carlos' picture or photograph, and also the Banco de España at the end here. Let's go to also now we did a little bit of culture in Spain, and I would like now to proceed to our lesson. And we are going to review some of the things we went through yesterday, we learned yesterday. Let's go into those choices that I have told you that I will do every day on the alphabet. Let's go to 5 words. And before we do that, yes, let's go to practice our alphabet. Let's practice our alphabet very quickly. Thank you. It's A, B, C, Ch, D, E, F, G, H. Now, don't forget it's silent, that H. I, open your mouth. J, like hotel. J, K, L, E, just like yes. E, very good. M, N, oh, here comes one. Ñ, Ñ, O, P, Q, R, very soft, and now comes the strong one. R, S, T, U, V, W, W, X, Y, Z, or theta. Now that we went through that very quickly, please do practice at home. Take the book, open the book, and practice. It's on page 29. Let's go to those 5 words that I talked to you about, that I chose for this lesson to practice. E comes, it's just pronounced as enero. Enero. See the sound of E? Open your mouth. And that means January, the month of January. F is familia, almost like in English, family, familia. G, there are 2 ways of pronouncing G depending on what letter comes after G. Now you see the G and A. A is supposed to be a strong letter, so we say garaje, garaje. So the G becomes a G sound. And then when it's in a softer letter like E and I, is geranio, geranio. Now let's go back to garaje. Yes, you said it. It's garage, garage, garaje. And then geranio is like geranium, geranio. And let's go to the H. We have 2 words again. Hotel, hotel, which is hotel, hotel. And historia, historia, just like in English, except that H is silent, history, historia. And the last one, I, is I, industria, industria. Again, open that mouth, industria. So we have those words for you to practice. I hope you had jotted them down. If you haven't, we'll go through every day 5 letters at a time to master the alphabet. Remember, I said once you master the alphabet, you can read. I promise you that. You will read. I have here, and you will find also this on page 29. We're going to practice some words because there are rules and regulations of those alphabet words. And we're going to talk about B and V. B, long B, and V. Now let's start with V, and I make a really strong distinction here. Ventana, which is a window. Vaca, which is a cow. Verde, which is color green, the green color. Vino, I'm sure you know about this, is wine. Vaso, it's a glass or a cup. Vaso. Now those words I pronounce the V quite strongly. Now comes the soft B. Bien, which is good. Blanco, white. Bueno, see how soft I say bueno now. You notice I pronounce each letter. I didn't leave anything. Bueno. Now let's go to the next one, double L and Y. I myself like to make a distinction. You don't have to if you think it's enough to learn one way of saying it. Let's say, llamar is to call. We learned that verb, right? To call oneself. Llamar. You can also say llamar. It's just about the same. It's the same Spanish language. Ella or ella. Ella. And then ella means she. We learned that yesterday. Silla. Silla. It's like saying yes in English. Silla or silla. And then comes yo. And see, I make it really strong. Yo, I. Mayo is the month of May. Mayo. Now, silla means chair. I forgot to tell you. Silla means chair. Now, let's go to ñ. That's a tricky one. Año means year, the year. Niño means a boy. Niño. Mañana. That's a long one. Repeat after me. Mañana. Muy bien. Mañana means tomorrow. And señora means Mrs. Señora. Good. Now, H. Let's go to H. Hoy. Remember, silent. Now practice the next one. Good. No sound on that H. Hola. Hola. That's what I say when I start my program. Hola. And then hombre. Hombre means man. Hombre. So there you have them. We're going now to another set of rules. And we're going to go to the J. Juan. Juan. See how I pronounce that? Juan. Now in Madrid, they may say Juan. Very strong. Juan. And in my country, Puerto Rico, and other Hispanic places, we will say Juan. Juan is like hotel, like if you say hotel in English. Jorge. See that G and E again? It's H. Jorge. And hijo. Hijo means son. And then we go to G. G, when it's, as I said, when it's next to an E or an I, is pronounced very gently. It's gente, means people. Gitano means gypsy. And general, general. Gente, gitano, general. It's just like a J sound in Spanish. And then we go to the G with an O and an U and an A. And we say hago. See the G and O is stronger. Hago, which means I do or I make. Lago, which is a lake. Lago. And gasolina. See that G and A? Gasolina, which is gasoline or petrol. Let's go to the last section, or rather, yes, the last one on R, double R's. R, when it's double R, you say carro, which is an automobile, and perro, which is a dog. And then if this R is one R, initial R, it pronounced just as if it were a double R. That's why they're together in these rules. Roberto. Rosa is a rose, and rojo is the red color. Rojo, rosa, Roberto, and then carro, perro. You see, you can hear that they are strongly pronounced. Now comes the R that is in between. That is not the initial R. And we say it's quite slow and quite softly. Pero, which means but. Ahora, which is now. And Bárbara, Bárbara. See how different it is? Then comes the QU. Now the QU, it's another of those rules that you don't pronounce the U. It is silent. Que, what, or which, que. And then pequeño. You don't hear that U, right? We don't say pequeño, but pequeño, small. Queso, cheese. Queso. So now that we have done this, let's go and introduce something new to you. These are titles, and I will start with señor, which means Mr., señora, and señorita. Señor, as you see, is not capitalized because we're spelling it out. It's a whole word. When it's a whole word like that, you don't capitalize in any of these. Señor, Mr., señora, Mrs., señorita, Miss. Now let's see what happens to capitalize these words. When they're in capital letters, it is because we abbreviate them. And here we are. Sir, señor, Mr., the same as sir, señora, Mrs., señorita. So when you see them capitalized, it's because we're abbreviating, or vice versa. When we abbreviate, we capitalize. Now, for these señor, señora, and señorita, we're using, as in English, the last name. Like we say, señor Ortiz, señora Ortiz, señorita Ortiz. Now, in Spanish, we also use a title of respect, and we use it with the first name. And these are the title, Don y Doña. Like if I say, like I say in my program, Doña Ada. So I'm using my first name, Doña Ada. And Don Pedro, Peter. That's a first name. So when you hear this, and this is very much of a sign of respect, children and adults alike, we use it when we refer to a person we respect. Now, let's go to some greetings, and we can find these greetings on page 31. And we're going to use the one that I use at the beginning of the program. Hola. Hola. See how I said? Hola. No H sound. Don't forget, those H are not allowed to be pronounced. Now, let's go to the other ones that I have prepared for you. Good morning. And we say, buenos días. Buenos días. It sounds so melodic when you say buenos días. Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Good evening or good night, we only have one. This is when it gets easy in Spanish. Many things are difficult, but this one is easy. Buenas noches. Just remember, you enter a room, you say buenas noches. You leave the room, you can say buenas noches. Now let's go to another greeting. We say see you later. Hasta luego. I'm sure you have heard this. Hasta luego. And hasta la vista. Till next time. And hasta pronto. See you soon. Hasta pronto. Sometimes I use either of those. I like to change things around. Goodbye. Remember, I said that yesterday when I left the program, when we finished our section. Adios. Adios. And it has an accent on the O. And it's pronounced strongly. Adios. 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 Another couple of things that I want to show you today is how do you say, how are you? How are you? And we say, ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? See those accents? ¿Cómo estás? We're going to talk about these question marks later on, that you see an inverted one and so forth. And when you say, ¿Cómo estás? I hope you can answer well, and you say, bien, bien. Or you can also answer, very well, and you say, muy bien. Muy bien. Not if you don't feel very well. What would you say, not very well? That's too sad, but you can learn it. No muy bien. No muy bien. ¿Cómo estás? No muy bien. And if you say you want to thank after somebody has asked, how are you doing? You say, gracias, gracias, gracias. Now in Spain, you might hear saying gracias. That C can be pronounced as a TH sound. Gracias is just the same. It's just the same Spanish. And if you want to say you're welcome, you say de nada. De nada. In French, we say de rien, and it's exactly the same thing. De nada. And we are going to talk very quickly about Spain again. We have some language facts of the Spanish language, and I would like to go very quickly to the world map to show you how many countries speak the language, speak Spanish. We see all those, the countries of South America, Central America, the Caribbeans in between, even Florida, they speak Spanish in the US. And then we have Spain, and we have Equatorial Guinea in Africa. And in Equatorial Guinea, the official language is Spanish. They have other languages called Fang and Bubi, etc. They were discovered and explored by the Portuguese, ceded to Spain, and eventually they became independent in 1968. The resources made this country, Equatorial Guinea, very successful in the hands of the Spanish government. Now, we are going to talk a little bit again of Spain. I'd like to show you a clip of Spain. We started yesterday talking about it, and we show you some places in Spain, and I'd like to show you also some places of Madrid. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this clip.
Gateways to the original city, history carved in stone. Napoleon's defeat. Puerta de Toledo in 19th century grandeur. Alcalá, built by Charles III, so in love with the city, he was often called the King Mayor. Throughout the city, history is fused with a modern, invigorating pace. Cybele, the Greek goddess of fertility, rides her chariot amidst the most famous fountain in all of Spain. Madrid is a fashionable grande dame, always anxious to show its best face, enticing, exciting, a city full of awe and wonder. For many, Madrid and the Prado are synonymous. Nearby, art imitates life in Retiro Park, once the garden of Bourbon kings. In the spring, the glories of nature challenge man's cloistered genius. The Puerta del Sol, where the bear and the madroño tree form the city's official symbol. All distance in Spain is measured from this point, and for many, all time. The heart of old Madrid, the Plaza Mayor, upon whose cobbled surface much of Spain's history unfolded, from the beheading of traitors to the canonization of saints. The plaza is surrounded by 17th century buildings. Their shaded archways provide solace. Time for a cooling sangria, a bit of tea. Nearby, the town hall faces the Plaza de la Villa. Religion and its influence are strongly felt in Madrid, even though it has no major cathedral. Much of the city's neoclassic architecture seems also to aspire to ecclesiastical perfection, from the Casón del Buen Retiro to the opera. From masterpiece to canvas, the Royal Palace was built in 1764. One of the finest and largest of royal dwellings, the palace has over 2,000 rooms. Its magnificence reflects 2 centuries of history, from Charles III to King Juan Carlos, scion of the Bourbon dynasty. The magnificent grounds outside the palace soften its grandeur, allowing even playful children to hopscotch through history. A maze of manicured gardens no doubt contain coquettish whispers from the past. Major shopping districts bristle with smart shops and boutiques, while Calle Serrano draws all the top international firms and designers and the most discriminating clientele. With its economy on a fast track, sophisticated, modern Madrid reflects the stable, upbeat tone of the times.
Well, there you have it, Spain, Madrid. We're going back to some of these language facts that we talked about, because in the Spanish language we have a lot of influence from the Moors that occupied Spain for many years, and we have here some words that I want to show you. Gibraltar is a place that you saw in the map, and it is from the Moorish language, Moorish Arabic rather, is Gebel Tariq, and it means Tariq's rock, Tariq's rock. And we have other words, and you notice this when you speak Spanish, there's a lot of words that start with AL, such as algodón, alfombra, and almohada. Algodón means cotton, alfombra means the carpet or a rug, and almohada means a pillow. And notice almohada, they all start with AL. So we have here all the words that are taken from the Arabic or the Moorish language. And I'd like now to say goodbye, adiós, hasta mañana.